Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror PSA presented by Scary Nerd. And as always, we are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Saul.
And I'm Angie.
The following is a public service announcement.
When two bumbling employees at a medical supply warehouse accidentally release a deadly gas into the air, the vapors cause the dead to rise again as zombies. That's right. We are doing 1985's The Return of the Living Dead.
And holy crap, that was an 80s movie.
This is 80s in all the best way.
Yes.
Was this meant to be satire?
I believe so.
Okay, because I was
come
like,
on.
it's very satire
It
filled.
starts out with
reminded
the
me-
movie lied. Here's what the movie didn't tell you. I mean, come on. It was complete satire.
I loved that the main title cards were like, all of this really happened.
All of this is true.
Don't question it. It's real.
It reminded me of like the Doctor Strangelove movie where it's just like satirical about the A-bomb or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Airplane. Like I was really getting a lot of those like just spoof satirical kind of feel to it about the zombie genre.
Especially the over the top zombies who are like, send more calls.
I called that
Send more paramedics.
yeah, they were getting takeout.
Over.
Send more. We're hungry.
It was Uber Eats. Right?
Yes, it was. But
Before Uber Eats.
yes. But yeah, it felt so satirical, and I was cracking up through the whole time. Like I said, I loved the title cards, and they give you the Night of the Living Dead backstory about how it all really happened, and they shipped the containers
Here's what
here.
They didn't tell you.
Yeah. And then I love when they walk downstairs and smacks the side of the drum like it's like, like
This is made by the Army Corps of Engineers. There's nothing really.
yeah, like shit.
The thing that I find ironic when everybody says everything's like military grade or army grade or whatever it need be, the one thing that everybody forgets is when military and all that stuff contract people out to do their stuff, they take the lowest bid like everybody else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not even Army Corps of Engineers. I'm like, okay, it was made by some guy that owns a company that can weld.
Yeah, but no, I wrote down they smacks the side of the drum and it releases gas and sweet 80s tunes because that's when it starts with
the music in this one. I'm like, man.
And I thought I
This is
hadn't
the
seen
80s.
this before we started watching it. But again, one of these movies, when the dogs, when they come back to life, that unburied a deep covered memory that I was like, oh, I have seen this. Because, I remember
half-dogs.
the
Unlocked
half
horror
dog.
movies.
Because I remember as a kid, I was like, oh my God, would that happen? Like, you could see it inside. And it freaked me out because when they go and like he's hitting it, they flip it over and like all the intestines and stuff had like gotten juicy again.
Yeah.
And so like that part freaked me out as a child. But I wasn't born when this movie came out.
Every time the music started, it kind of reminded me of the
Like
kind
an
of
old Nintendo game is what I got from some of the tunes.
some little bit of video game thing, but it always reminded me of the little monologue part of Thriller. I'm like, things are going to start, like the zombies are going to start dancing.
They did kind of dance. They had so many different kinds of zombies in this one too.
Why didn't the skeleton come out of the box?
I don't know. Because it
'Cause,
shows the skeleton later on out in the cemetery.
Yeah, because that one shot they used twice in the movie.
Yeah.
But when he's putting, the stuff, he's like, all right, now you put the adult skeleton in there. And I never knew that straw shit was called Excelsior.
I did not either.
Because he now just put some Excelsior. I'm like, what the fuck's Excelsior? And then he puts that shit. I'm like, that's what that's called?
I just assumed.
I've seen that stuff in like every movie. Like Indiana Jones, there was like shit like that where they break the crates.
Story.
Like Christmas Story, the leg lamp comes in. I'm like, I've never known what that shit was called.
In the 80s and before, did they used to ship stuff in crates like that a lot? Because my childhood
apparently
led me to
it was like,
believe
fuck
that,
it, we've got a million trees. Let's just make everything an actual crate.
yeah, we're gonna put a big
Because
old
how
crate
many movies
together.
have we seen where everything gets shipped in crates? What
So
is it?
many.
Yes. Everything.
No, I'm disappointed now that as an adult I don't get stuff shipped in a wooden crate like
I know.
that. With
Excelsior.
with the word
with
fragile.
Excelsior,
Yeah.
first of all, and second of all, a spray painted
Fragile.
fragile or a fucking do not open or like I went the Arctic expedition.
there
Shipped
you
to
go.
Horlicks University.
I love when they come out of the coma or whatever. When the two guys, what was it? Frank
and Freddie.
Frank and Freddie. When they
Frank and Freddie,
when they
yes.
wake up, they're all like like all trying to get the taste out of their mouth because they tasted
Stinks like
everywhere.
shit in here.
And I love. They're like, I'll just get some Lysol. That'll cover
just
up
spray
that
this up a
smell.
little bit. Yeah,
And that's what I
when the-
noticed too. That he did spray. It was literally Lysol.
Yeah.
It
Let's
sounded
see,
like he
Lysol
sprayed
kills
Lysol.
everything. Apparently.
It kills
But apparently
coronavirus.
It doesn't,
It'll cure
well, it doesn't kill the zombie aerosol that it ended up being. But that's when the skeleton should have come out of the Excelsior and just
Yeah.
been alive. But instead, they had to take it to blah blah blah. Instead, they had to tackle a naked, greased up Moby. Apparently,
They did, yes. The,
What was it, like
it's
an
like a
orange?
cadaver.
He's like a
Yeah.
yellowish
Orange.
orange. He look, yeah. I'm like, he just looks like piss, basically.
And they're so like
He's a
they're
piss sponsor.
screamy. This
like,
Yeah, what was that?
They
What was
were-
that one's
they
deal?
were
Like,
yelling
that
a
one must have
lot.
died a horrible death
Yeah.
if he was just like, ah!
I thought it was
screaming.
so funny how they bring one in and they talk to her.
the spine one, basically.
The skeleton one, yes. Like she,
Yeah, another one that was
Yeah.
just the spine and
like
and
some
bones.
meat. She had a little bit of meat on her, but not much.
She was a little bit jerky left on
Yeah,
the, on the
but
bone.
I love it.
The thing that I kept noticing about Frank's character is the sweat stains on his shirt kept changing.
Oh, they
on
did.
every shot.
I know. I'm like, why are you so sweaty? Because they were
well,
so
he
much
was
sweat.
dying, all right?
I guess.
Like they went from like they started his armpits, so I can understand it, and around the neck, but then they morphed all the way from the back, and there was like more parts of the shirt that were wet that weren't dry, and then another shot it was back to like parts of it were more dry than they were wet.
Yeah, he was dying. all right?
I loved him,
He
and he's
was
like, "Do you
oozing.
want to see the bodies?" You know, like he does that face. I'm like, "Yep, that's that."
Well,
would
how
be-
much fun do you think you actually get to have without messing with the bodies or whatever at a fucking medical
I don't
supply
know.
place? We'd be
I
like,
don't know.
here's a half a dog, and we put it in the box and grab the Excelsior. Now,
I do when after they wake up and then Bert gets there, the owner, like everybody's just fucking freaking out. Like they're all just like, "Oh my god!" Like Frank is just like the whole time,
whoa, my God. Well,
and they're like, "What are we gonna do about this cadaver?"
Frank was fucking like, Frank went to the limits of his fucking like moral compass a
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
times. He was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, just fucking throw the pickaxe in his head. He's already dead.
Yeah,
You fucking did this. You clean up your own mess.
but then that doesn't work, and they go, "The movie's lied."
The movie's like,
Just lied to us. Yeah.
I did love that though, because you would think, okay, everything that you've been taught and everything that you think you know went out the window when they pickaxed the head of it.
I know we've
still
talked
alive.
we've talked a lot about like we would know what to do in a zombie apocalypse, but we're basing this all off of
All
fiction
off
and
of
movies
fiction,
and shit.
yeah.
So like the movies would like I think there really would be that fucking that moment in your life if the zombies actually happen. It's like wait, the brain thing doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, what do we do? What if it's the heart? What if it's
Even
something
after
else?
they've
like-
completely like after they do the pickaxe and that still doesn't work, they fucking saw the fucker's head off, and then
Yeah.
they just got the body running around with no head, and I was like,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
literally a chicken with his head cut
yeah,
off.
it's seriously yeah. So basically, how do you kill them then?
You burn them. That was the only
burn-
way.
burning
But
doesn't
burning
work.
them made the fumes go more
into the
It turned into- yeah,
atmosphere.
it
So
turned
yes.
then
into
what?
vapors.
So that's just a world where it's just going to take over because there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you put them in those barrels. That's how you get rid of
Yeah,
them.
that's you
Guess.
just you gotta.
But then the fumes
store
are
'em.
always going to be there, and they'll just get
Yeah.
out some. What if you just like a huge blender and it was just like
made a soup
medical waste, like
There you
soup, like the ooze kind of stuff, and then I would think
and put it in
there's
the
no
bottom of the
fumes.
ocean like the rest of the
Bottom
medical
yeah.
waste.
'Cause that's what we need in the bottom of the ocean. Just
Yes.
making fucking. If you put that at the bottom of the ocean, what if a bunch of fucking like old pirates and shit came up from the bottom from like way long ago?
You get
Could
Blackbeard
happen.
coming after
Yeah,
you.
could
Wouldn't that be
happen.
some shit? See, we need an updated version of this movie where they did
There you
stupid
go.
shit like that. The Transformers would come back because they're
Megatron.
they're under there apparently.
Skeleton Lady though is my fave. She's just like, I can feel myself rods.
I know you almost feel bad for
I know.
skeletons. It's like it hurts. So I'm like, that's
yes.
okay. So like, how fucked up is that? Like you're a zombie and you have to eat brains, otherwise you are gonna be in pain. Like that's horrible, man.
I know,
That's
like-
the
My question.
worst fucking thing.
Here's my question. I've noticed it probably
is hell on
within the
earth.
last, I don't know, since Walking Dead, maybe a little bit before that. But when did zombies go from eating brains to just eating flesh?
I don't know. But they didn't in the original Night of the Living Dead. They didn't.
Yeah, I think
eat
they just ate
brains.
whatever.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
think they came after people, and I think
So maybe the whole brains thing is basically from
Because
this
I remember
movie.
the 80s and zombies, like into the late 80s, into the early 90s, it was always brains. And
Yeah.
then I want to say probably around the 2000s hit, it switched from brains to the just eating. Like,
Well, having a dead thing eat something is impractical on its own.
yeah.
yes, brains.
Speaking of brains, I don't know when that switched, and I think it's always maybe like I said, I don't think.
I want to say it's in the 2000s when it started to happen because that's when I noticed it.
Well, I don't think that it's ever been fully one way or the other. I just think because,
I
like I
always
said, in the
took-
Night of the Living Dead, in the '60s
'Cause this-
version, they
'cause, yeah,
ate meat. They
'cause
didn't
this movie,
just
it
eat
was
brains.
brains. I remember The Simpsons when they parodied zombies. It was
So
brains.
maybe it's just the comedic look at zombies is the brains thing. Because if you think of like this movie is, obviously a comedy,
Yeah.
comedic
Yeah.
satiric look at horror and zombies. So it's like maybe that's the generic comedy thing that generically and comedically zombies only eat brains.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I like it's like we eat brains because it makes us not hurt. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
None of it makes sense, man. But yeah, but that's horrible. Like your life is over and you've been given life back, but you've been brought back basically as an addict.
Yeah,
in
pretty
pain.
much. You're
Like,
always
going
going to be
through
in withdrawals.
Like, that's
Yep.
horrible.
I did find that funny though that they could talk to him.
Yeah, they were very animated. And like I said, they were very loud. They were
vocal cords.
screaming and like everything.
I appreciate the use of people with missing limbs in this movie.
Yes.
Oh, that cracked me up.
Yes.
The one that was like with no arms and legs that was just like running like
Yeah, but that got up and then ran away.
yeah,
I was like,
Yes.
how
good
does
for
that
you,
happen?
man.
Like,
Yeah.
what the yeah, when they threw him and it starts like waddling away wherever it did that, I'm like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is this?
No,
Yeah.
that was a fucking sprint for that.
Yeah,
for that guy.
no,
Like,
I loved it though. Like, and then they're just like, "Let's go ask my mortician friend."
the
Weekend at Bernie's
the Weekend
guy?
at Bernie's
Yeah.
guy. I thought it was too, and I'm like, this poor guy always has issues with dead people.
He
in
does.
fucking
He
movies.
can't get
Like,
away from it, man.
He's like, screw this. I'm gonna become a hitman after this. Fuck this.
I love how he pulled the gun on Bert because he was listening to his tunes. On
Yeah.
his,
Well,
his
you gotta
Walkman.
think fucking anything sneaks up at you in the middle of the night in a fucking mortuary. You're like, I'm shooting first. All right.
Yes.
I loved the play or the satirical way they made the '80s kids in this one, or the
Oh my
teenagers,
God.
The street trash.
the street
kids,
trash
like-
kids.
punkers.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the all the
They were punk.
spray
they were
paint
punkers.
on the car and all their
Suicide.
suicide trash. And
It when I saw
Yes.
them, all I can think of was Casey Jones from Ninja Turtles, where he goes like, "God, I hope you're not punkers. I hate punkers."
I assumed that there was going to be a lot more like gang related stuff like that as
Yeah.
a child
They were.
too.
They were. Yeah. Like it's out in the open.
just out in
Like,
the open with their fucking
Well,
mohawks.
I
and-
remember in a music class when I was a kid in elementary school, they showed us West Side Story, and we laughed because we were poor kids in a pretty gang infested area, and we're like,
Like, it doesn't
isn't-
work this
like,
way.
This isn't gangs.
You guys
Like,
don't
like,
snap
they
it out
don't
in the middle of the
like,
street.
You guys, like,
They
you
don't
guys-
randomly break out to song and
Like
dance.
you guys know that Ruben over here, he's in a gang. He'll tell you.
I think he murdered somebody.
Like he'll tell you
before.
this isn't what gangs do. Like, I saw Gilbert hit a guy with a baseball bat after school. So
Like, this isn't what they do. They don't.
they
break it.
don't sing. All right.
I love though when Trash starts dancing and everybody's like, she's getting naked again.
Oh, bring the what is that? What
Bring
is
the
Spider
lights
say?
over
Bring
here.
the lights.
Yeah.
Trash is
Oh
getting
my
naked
gosh.
again. I'm like, ah.
Well,
And
she does that weird thing about how. Do you ever fantasize about how you
About
would
how she
die?
dies.
Oh my god, I was
Basically.
dying laughing at that. I was like, this is making fun of all the weird girls of the world.
It really is, and I
Um,
thought that it was funny because this, and it's funny to me that it's such a satirical look at it that it's like I'm just gonna get naked and be naked the rest of the fucking movie,
Yep.
That's the
basically.
thing
Even
that I
as a
thought about
fucking
it, too,
zombie.
because
All
she
I have
start-
is these leg warmer things.
She starts dancing naked on the grave. I'm like,
Yeah.
she's really gonna do this? I'm like, okay, she's fully on naked, and then what? It starts to rain.
Rain. But no, before that, when they're all just hanging out,
rain.
when they're all just hanging out and Trash is like rubbing her exposed vagina
Just
all
everything.
over.
I'm
on
like,
her-
this is
on
graphic.
Suicide's leg. Like she's literally like just putting her vagina on his leg.
Is it really dry humping if the vagina is out?
I don't
Like,
think so.
like-
And
But
he's
I-
like mad at her. Like,
Don't
kind
you
of
have
away
any
from me.
respect
Yeah.
for the dead? I love that part. I'm like, yeah. Have some respect for the dead.
Yeah, we broke into this fucking cemetery to, light road flares and watch Trash Dance
and
naked.
drink,
and just
apparently.
hang
I
out,
don't
yeah.
know.
And
But
if
yeah.
anything, give props to the actress who played Trash. She pretty much did that movie naked.
Naked.
Linnea Quigley.
Yes.
You show some damn respect.
Because she had after
Those leg warmers and then everything
She had the
else
leg
was
warmers,
body
and then
makeup,
she
I
had-
think.
She had
No.
that purple cover.
she
on thing.
ripped off
Yeah.
part of that person's sweater or whatever. it may
Yeah,
be.
that her friend.
Yeah, she took the other chick. She took off one of her layers. I
Yeah.
think.
She's like, I don't have any clothes on, bitch. Give me this.
And I was like, wait, guys, I don't have any shoes. Like, no one told your ass to get fucking naked
Yeah.
again. Like,
yeah, no one was like, hey, you know what?
I
This
love-
day needs some pussy in the wind.
It cracked me up how she as soon as it started raining, instead of making a beeline and grabbing her clothes, she just ran away. I'm like,
Yeah.
bitch, you're still naked. Mm-hmm. Like, get your clothes.
she obviously didn't care. So
Yes.
it wasn't
I
like,
mean,
I'm naked.
Horror PSA, it's very inconvenient to be naked out in the world. I mean, shit could happen. You could get acid rain.
Yeah.
Zombies could
Wear
show up.
A little backpack at least or something.
Yeah,
Like,
just have extra clothes with you, man. If you're the type that loses their clothes occasionally, I've been friends with people that way.
It's not even about losing your clothes. It's about okay, here's the real horror PSA. If you're gonna get naked, remember where you put your stuff.
Yeah.
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 If you throw your clothes around all willy nilly when you're getting naked, then you're gonna lose your stuff.
You're not gonna find it.
If it's one of those situations where shit, I need to get my clothes back on really quickly, then know where you fucking left them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I've hung out in cemeteries before. Just pick up your trash.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. Let's clean up your messes.
Leave it better than you found it.
Pack in,
Yes.
pack out. Come on, guys.
Hey, well, Trash was really packing out.
Yeah. But they go ask the mortician to get rid of the cadaver. That's the word I was looking for.
They
Like
asked,
cut up
they asked the
parts.
guy from Ernie, from Bernie.
At first,
His name is Ernie, and
His
he was
name
in
is-
Weekend at Bernie.
That's too
What
funny.
if
from Bernie.
They said they were rabid. What was it?
Weasels.
Rabid
Rabid
weasels.
weasels.
that they managed to get inside of plastic bags because they got accidentally shipped to
I
them.
know, and the mortician's like, we can't burn them
Ship 'em
alive.
back.
Like,
Like,
what are you talking about? Like, we're not going to burn animals alive in my fucking
Call animal
crematorium.
control. What the fuck's the matter with you,
I
Bert?
love how he was just so practical. He's
I
like,
love
no.
how he proceeds before he even asks them. I was like, "How long have we been friends?" And usually when you get a friend that asks you that, you're like, "What the fuck do you want me to do? And is it illegal?"
Yeah, no, my always first thought whenever somebody's like, we've been friends for a long time, right? I'm like, what did you do?
Yes,
What did you do? You did something wrong, didn't you? It was
it's that
stupid.
one.
It's
or
better
the,
to not ask because then it's plausible deniability, and you can
Yes.
say, "Look, he just asked me for a ride."
And I'm the friend that will help you get out of a stupid situation as long as I didn't tell you that that's
And now that
exactly
I've
what's
said
going to
that, I've
happen.
implicated myself probably in a few crimes.
Yes,
I can help hide a body, but if you did it after I told, I'm like, look, don't go over there. You're going to kill that guy.
We could have a whole podcast on what you're supposed to do with it. Not the shit they show you in movies. Like how if you want to get rid of a body, we could talk about this. But that's not what this podcast is about. I'm not getting implicated in any other crimes.
But after the mortician
Edit that out. Never mind.
does decide to burn the cadaver, all the smoke goes up into the atmosphere, creates this. Was it like,
was like a
acid
mist.
rain or something?
Well, apparently it was acid rain because it
was burning their skin
Well,
or
the trash
something.
was getting all burnt up on her vagina and everything else because she was just butt ass naked.
Well, see, yeah,
still.
you expose the sensitive areas of yourself
See,
to the
that's-
world,
there
and
you
then
go.
That's
stuff
what it is.
hurts.
You can't expect your
Don't do it.
You can't expect your soft bits to be out and nothing bad will happen
Yep.
to them because you like anything. You can't. Yeah, what could you do naked? Like imagine fucking like cavemen. Like how many you think genital related accidents have happened in like caveman days just because they had no like clothes or whatever. You know, like.
Well, if trying to do anything naked has proven anything, have you seen Naked and Afraid and how inept they are when they're running around naked?
I have not seen that,
Yeah,
but I could
that
imagine.
right there. If you
imagine.
I could not do that because I'd be like, "What? There's bugs out here,"
Yes.
and
I don't know, like you just have to stand.
that
the
right
whole
there
time.
is perfect test
Yeah.
of not to be running around the wilderness or any place naked.
yep.
They'll see.
then zombies might come too,
Then Trash would have been fine on Naked and Afraid had
Trash.
they had it. But she
Leah
would have been
Quigley
like,
should just be on Naked and Afraid. I mean, she was naked for a lot of the 80s.
Yes.
A lot of the movies she was in.
Yeah, what do you win on Naked and Afraid?
I
Is
don't
there a
know.
point to it?
I mean,
What's
more
the
power
fucking
to you.
point, then?
If you can be confident enough to keep your soft bits exposed to the world,
It's you're
more power
supposed to
to
see
you.
how long you can stay, how you can manage. I think you got to be out there for like 60 days or something like that.
Yeah, if I'm not
So
winning,
you don't win anything?
No.
That's dumb then.
You just
No.
win the only thing you win is that you won the show.
You win a fucking like plaque or some shit. I'm like,
Pretty
no, I'm
much.
not exposing
They give you a
my
ribbon.
my
They give you a participation
my
trophy.
unmentionable
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Harsh conditions.
Yeah.
You completed the show. Here's your ribbon.
I like when after the paramedics get there for Frank and Freddie because they're all
Yeah.
blue looking, gross.
Dude, that
Well, you can
great.
progressively
Yeah.
see them getting worse because I started noticing it when they started getting the black bags under their
Yeah,
eyes.
they get the bags and like their skin starts going whiter and stuff like that, but
Like
then
a-
they
like a
can't
grayish
move.
almost,
Yeah. But Tina, why was Tina so like, Freddie, no, he's sick. And like, especially after they know the zombies, right? 'Cause she
Yeah.
ran through the graveyard.
Yeah, but
And she's like, okay, they're next to the stuff that made all the zombies
Yeah.
come out. Like, why? I'm going to be in there. No,
no,
Freddie's
you're not.
good. He's
but it was
got
like, but I think the thing for her was they weren't, asking for brains. They weren't like trying to eat any of them.
Yet.
They were still them.
Yet,
Yeah.
And yeah,
fuckers.
and that's what they said. They're going to turn and this and that. But she didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
It was the quintessential over emotional character that's like, no, it's not going to happen. They're still the hope.
They can't accept the inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the response, what made me think of Doctor Strangelove was the cop response as well as the military backstory we also got in there.
Yeah.
Because it was really like we see that general and we have no idea what that general is for
Yeah.
for the longest time.
That whole dynamic of him and just showing
the
him
wife.
and how they introduce it, like, they gotta call me, like I gotta be available in case they call me. I'm like, you guys lost this like 14 years ago, and it's
Yeah.
like you pay this guy just to be on call 24 hours a day in case you find these random
That
barrels
would
that you
suck
lost.
to be
Like,
him because you got to think of it practical. You can't take any vacations. You can't leave the house more than.
he's probably got a case that he brings with him. It's a
Yeah.
SATCOM case.
I love that he is just when he does get the phone call and he's talking to Bert and he's just calmly asking him questions. Well, why didn't you call right away? Oh, that happened. Okay.
How long ago this happened?
Yeah, like he's
That
just
how-
like
how
getting.
many, how many square miles there?
And
Where
then,
are you?
yeah, and
Okay.
then we see he just goes into the other part and basically is like, okay, so we need to do this. We need to have a bomb here. We gotta, and then like he lines everything up, and then they just explode the town at the end. I love it so much. It's such a satire
Did it. And-
way to go.
And I kept thinking it was like, I'm calling in tomorrow, guys. We
Yeah.
finally found those barrels. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
Calling in, taking a
It's
day
like,
off.
I don't have to worry about being on call no
I'm
more.
retiring.
Well, my question is, right? So
Blue Boy Group.
even if like in the crazies, right, when they did the bomb and everything and it like sucked in the air and all that stuff and it scorched the air, but like in this one, the smoke goes up into the clouds and then comes back down in the form of rain. If that's already happened, would a bomb do anything?
Probably.
Considering that there's sequels to this movie,
Yeah.
I'm going to say that it
No.
probably didn't do it.
I saw at least 4.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's 4 at least. So I guess we'll have to wait and
I
see.
guess so. Yeah. This one was a
I
fun
can
one.
imagine how
So
much
silly.
over the top the other ones would be.
Oh yeah,
Well, I'm sure it gets progressively more cheese filled.
cheese filled. I love how when they get into Suicide's car after all the rain starts, and I'm just like, he's like, I don't have any windows. I broke them out.
yeah.
They pissed me off.
Like what? And then like
Suicide was crying for help. So okay, Suicide just wasn't a cool street name. Like
No.
he was
He was
crying for
sad,
help.
yeah.
He needed some friends because he was like, you guys only call me when you need a ride.
yeah.
No one loves me.
Well,
You
they say
reminded me
that
of
they're
the-
like, well, you scare us, Suicide.
Well, you broke your own fucking windows out, jackass.
Yeah, I think you're right, Paul. He was the friend that was screaming out for help.
And you smell like trash, Suicide.
She keeps rubbing her vagina on my leather pants. It's not my fault.
It dries and it's all crunchy now. That's just nasty. I think it was really funny when they're asking Ernie, and like I'm glad that they cut away when they're like, all right, we've got a long story to tell you, and they actually tell him what was going on after the whole rabid weasels didn't pan out.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they cut away and like didn't go through that whole shit. But when they come back to it, and Ernie is just like, okay. And he's just sitting there all calm, like cutting his pants because his leg got ripped in the
Yeah.
pants. So he's like just cutting it, making it even, just, taking his time. And he's like, all right, let's go fix your problem now.
Yeah.
Right. He's just like going right at it. Like, just somebody help me. Throw these chunks in there and we'll be good to go.
I know. I liked him. He was just the weird mortuary guy with the gun the whole time after.
Yeah.
He just wanted to listen to his opera because I just imagine him listening to opera music for some reason.
Well, the thing that was funny with
Embalming
him
people.
is how they said, "What's the most fucked up thing you've seen?" So it didn't really phase him that all this shit happened.
Oh, I'm sure if how long did they say they knew each other? Like
25 years.
So yeah, if he's been there 25 years doing that job, then yeah, he's seen some shit, man.
Seen some shit,
It's like this is he's like the corner guy in Arachnophobia who just bag of chips, like,
Yeah.
hey guys, we
Yeah.
got this dead body here. Like,
Yeah, I know. I love how he notices that Freddy and Frank are getting rigor mortis because we
like,
already had that backstory.
yeah, like he introduced us to the world of rigor mortis,
Yeah.
and how like I didn't know that's how it started and spread. So I'm like,
Yep.
good to know.
But I like when Freddy comes back and he's trying to eat Tina. He just wants Tina.
He gets hungry.
He does, but somebody who blinds him, is it the mortuary guy? Is it Ernie?
Yeah, he throws the acid
acid.
on his face, and
Yeah.
it basically melts his
And then he
eyes
gets
shut.
cotton candy eyes is what I call it.
He reminded me a little bit of in Total Recall, the Schwarzenegger one, the one guy that
yeah.
had that basically stuff over his one eye.
Yes, but yeah, he was very hungry. He just wants Tina's brain for some
He
reason.
needs Tina's brain to stop the pain.
I loved the slimy one that came out of the.
The one that came out, the second one from the barrel.
Yeah.
I love that one too. That
He's
was
all
my
slimy
favorite
and
one.
gooey. Yes,
Like,
brains.
he's just gooey and like just the
that's-
way that the character or the actor whoever did that was just the way that he moved and like just kind of like
Yes.
he looked like just a basically walking skeleton like
He
you would
did.
expect.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things too, to where that zombie, if it's you've seen it before.
Yeah.
Because like I remember seeing it in something, I forget what it was, and then when I saw them, I'm like, oh, this is where this is from.
Yeah, it's a very well known zombie.
Yeah. But he's very smart too. And Tina gets trapped in that locker thing
Yeah.
that she puts herself in, and then he takes the chain and
Yeah,
he's like
and I'm
cranking
like,
up
this-
the train to get the door off.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, right away, it's establishing what these zombies can and can't do.
They're
And
smart.
They apparently just remember everything
Yep.
from before, and they're able
They're
to
just
do
in
everything.
pain and they're
They're
just
not the
trying to
mindless
eat.
ones.
Need fucking brains, man.
Yeah.
It's like the stuff, but you need brains.
Yes.
And one other thing I forgot to mention was the intro to it when they do pop the drum or whatever and that zombie melts. I love that scene where it's
Yes.
just like all deteriorating from the air.
Yes, where they do that. It's like the time lapse
Yeah.
heating
Yeah.
lamp where they just melts like the wax. There's a great video behind the scenes from Raiders of the Lost Ark when they do the German guy that melts.
Yeah.
There's a great behind the scenes
Yeah,
video. If you
I
wanna
love
see that done.
those effects of the melt. I think it's so cool. I've always loved those.
And then the other thing you gotta appreciate too is once all hell breaks loose with these zombies, when they hole themselves up in the funeral home, and one of the characters, I think it was Spider, is like, "How many fucking windows you got, man?"
Yeah,
That's it. No more windows.
no more windows. I know. I love the nailing shit shut montage that they have.
Oh, it was the 80s. You gotta
Yeah.
have a montage.
But that's the best thing because it's so over the top where they're just like all hammering together.
using
love
the
it.
axes
Yes.
and whatever else they have. Yeah, Spider Miguel Nunez. I cannot look at him in the 80s and not think of Friday the
Enchiladas.
13th. I'm like, God damn enchiladas.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby.
Yep. He was hilarious in this movie though, because he's just like when Trash is talking to him and he's like, "Do you ever think about how to die?" And he's like, "Nope, I try not to think about that."
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
I know.
I don't think about that. I don't think about trying to live.
And then surprise, surprise, the way that Trash talks about how she dies, that's exactly how she ends up dying.
She didn't really look that mangled up though. So what did they
She
do?
didn't. I know. I'm like, they didn't eat her.
They just gave
They
her a
just
little bite.
bit her.
They're like, oh, she's naked. We'll keep her. Fuck yeah.
Apparently,
They bit her a couple times, and they turned her, and she turned what, blue?
she went all.
It was blue and then like a weird whitish grayish kind of.
And it made her hair so much more neon
yeah, her
looking.
hair
Yeah.
got brighter. It was like all the pigment went to her hair. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And her mouth, like she got like almost like that snake thing and an unhinged jaw. Like, like she bites a couple people. I'm like, why does her mouth get so big now?
I find it funny that the zombies outside in the cemetery, outside of the mortuary or whatever, they were so coordinated. They're like, all right, they're coming. Like, everybody hide.
I know,
everybody
they
hide.
sit and wait.
Everybody get down.
I love how they're like, okay, we got 2 ambulances missing. Send 1 lone cop car.
Yeah, go find out what's happening.
Sending 2 cops to find out what's happening.
Send more
to
cops.
4 people.
And that's another thing too that you've seen somewhere. Because I remember seeing both of those things too, where they
That's
say
probably a Simpsons parody as well. It reminds me something.
send more cops, send more
stuff like
paramedics.
that. Yeah. It's definitely that 80s satire. Like it does. It's like if Airplane and like Naked Gun style kind of horror were kind of meshed
it was a
together.
zombie
That's what I
movie.
feel like
But
this
yeah,
movie
but
is.
with a weird like military Doctor Strangelove kind of
Yeah.
theme to it
It's like-
too. Like because I think what adds to it is like this all happened and it gives you specific dates,
Yeah.
it gives you specific
July
time.
3rd.
So it's like it's trying to be like real setup like this could happen, but in such a satirical way.
Like it's poking fun of the seriousness of other movies of
Yes.
that kind of ilk.
Yes, or and even maybe poking fun at people who could believe that kind of a thing could happen. Like,
Yeah, I could see that.
yeah, but I mean, the military would just have one guy be like, "Okay, we got to initiate this protocol now and push this
okay.
button, and we're bombing
Right.
them."
Well, I love how when Ernie decides to call the cops, he calls them, and then everybody's like, "Why aren't the cops coming?" And he just gives them the phone, and you can hear everything that's happening.
Oh yeah, he gives
And they're
them
like,
Oh no, that's later when
They have the
when Bert
barricade.
when
Oh, it's
Bert
Bert.
calls
Yeah.
he calls him, he's like, put me through to the guys outside, because that's when the
That's what it
helicopter
was.
and they had the blockade and all that, and he was like,
I
what
love-
the fuck is going on?
I
You
know.
tell me we're missing like 12 people.
I love the helicopter because like we got a real situation down here.
They're fucking eating people, sir.
And the thing that was funny about that too was like they figure out, okay, everything's been overrun. The cops have been overrun. I was like, who do we call next? And then they finally decide to call the phone number on the side of the barrel.
I know this whole movie only happened.
1-800 number.
Yes, this whole movie only happened because Bert didn't want to call the military in the first place.
Yeah.
Like
20 some 14 years ago.
I know.
They said a number, didn't they? Like
it was
10
it was like
years?
10,
14,
15, maybe
like
something
that.
like that. But
Yeah, it
yeah.
was like, why would you keep that shit? It was like,
Yeah,
I don't
no.
know. It was like, I don't know, underground.
Even like, well,
Black
even
market,
Frank and
maybe?
Freddie, they're like, well, who should we call somebody? And they're like, well, let's just call Bert.
Let's
Bert can
call
figure
Bert.
it out. I'm like, no.
Did what? I know.
No.
I wanted to them just to be like, look, we were down there and I was showing them around, and then it just leaked. Like we didn't do anything. We didn't touch anything.
Yeah.
Just be like, it wasn't us. It was something.
Oy.
And he does make fun of dumb Freddie and Frank because like you're the 2 idiots that went down there and opened them up, so it's your fault.
Yeah, you're gonna fix this mess.
Yeah, this box has already been opened, Bert. Sorry. And then, even when they walk through the graveyard, like when all the friends are in the graveyard, and it's like, oh, hey, is that Freddie? He's just carrying a body
what's he
through the
doing?
graveyard. I was
Like
like,
that can't like they're all like, that can't be.
You know,
him. Why
it's
would he be
very
doing that?
convenient that this like industrial complex is just like it's
Right
like a
next-
shit part of town or
yeah,
whatever.
right
and
next
they
to
were
the
just like,
cemetery, which apparently on the other side is the mortuary guy.
yeah, so acid rain.
But yeah, it almost like that too. Even that's an environmental, trope or whatever of things going into the atmosphere from man-made stuff and coming back down.
You
And
burned the bodies, and this is what happens.
yes, it's also satirical. This whole movie, like I said, it's an airplane, just not a slapstick.
No.
Slapstick.
Slapstick.
I do want to point out that Chuck, who was trapped in the couple that was trapped in the medical facility with Casey, Chuck and Casey. Chuck is he was actually in Children of the Corn.
Mostly.
He was the one dude in that scene where he's like, "It's my birthday."
Oh, the one who's gonna fuck
Yes.
the other chick. Yeah.
Yeah, were they gonna screw or were
Yeah,
they gonna?
I
thought they
believe
were gonna
so.
kill each other. I don't know. I've never read the book.
I don't remember.
They were just there in like a weird,
thought they were-
weird diaper,
Yeah, they were there like
weird diaper clothing, like cloth
semi-naked,
diapers.
and that's
yeah.
why I was like, are they gonna bone?
I thought they were gonna like kill each other because I thought it was like it's their birthday. They're 18. They
I
have
don't
to
remember,
die
but
now.
this isn't
Yeah.
the Children of the Corn episode.
God
so-
damn it!
But if you want to hear us watch
Way to
that.
go, Chuck.
But yeah, everything about this movie is hilarious.
It's
Don't
just so over the top.
don't take it seriously. And I feel like people who don't like this movie are like, well, it's stupid. I'm like, you just don't get satire.
Yeah, like I don't see like in the first 5 minutes of watching this movie, if you were like, okay, it's just silly kind of satirical zombie movie.
Yeah.
Got it. Like, if after that, I get it. If you don't like those movies, you don't want to watch this movie. But if after that and you watch this movie, like, how can you be surprised or be like, this is cheesy or this is
I get
over
that.
the top?
I think it all comes down to taste, but I think a lot of people go into things with expectation of like, it's going to be real and it's going to be scary. And then they're like, well, that was just stupid. I'm like,
You got to appreciate the thing about this movie. It was the quintessential 80s.
Yeah.
Everything about the 80s, you're right. It was satire. It was it's what it was.
it made political statements.
Yes.
It made fun of the youth.
Yes.
We paused it, and there was on when you watch it on Amazon, it shows a little
X-ray.
thing. Yeah, like the X-ray stuff. It said Blank Sabbath, and I'm like, am I high, or does it actually say Blank Sabbath? And then in the actual credits, the band is called Blank Sabbath.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they had like, this was like one of the extras brothers bands or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
this total movie was like, did you make this movie for like $3,000? Like this,
Yes.
this was totally like this quintessential 80s, no budget, like
Yep.
just
Practical
straight
effects.
crap, horror, fun, satire. And it's like, what's not to love about that? I mean, if you're not into that, I get it. But if you are, like, what's not to love about this fucking movie?
I love everything about the soupy zombie, the soupy one that comes out of the
The
drum.
bottom one.
Yeah. And then at the end when they're back in there and they hit his head off with the
With the baseball bat.
baseball bat so that they could get down to the only other phone in the facility.
Yeah.
But I love all the practical work because when they do go down there, like they close the door and they see all the goo from the zombie because that zombie's
Yeah.
all gooey. So he's just getting goo everywhere. But yeah, they go down there and he has to like close the drum to get to that other phone. And I'm just like, why would you have a phone right there? It's so
the
random.
only two places in this crap building that
Yeah.
can be a phone. But yeah, it even had those the music was just that quintessential like just silly over the top fucking 80s music. Like the rock music that was like,
And the end credits too, where if you didn't pay attention at all in the movie, all you had to do was watch the credits to see
Yes,
I'm like,
you-
everything.
I'm like, oh, look, it's a quick recap of the movie we
Yeah.
just watched. I literally said
Yeah,
that
it's
too.
like it's a quick synopsis of the film we just saw. Thank you,
you
guys.
just watch this movie.
So you just watch the movie, and now you're gonna watch it again in like the 2-minute credit
In
scenes.
case you forgot what the movie was about.
Yeah, and if you didn't know this movie was satire, the ending, I mean, they're on the phone and he's like, do you guys hear that? And it's just the bomb sound.
Of course.
I was
Gotta
like,
end.
yeah. And because it's so funny. He's just like, do you guys hear that? Like,
I think we need a really good for the podcast. We need a really good like outro 80s song for our
to
podcast.
play us
Oh
out.
my
yeah.
gosh, that'd
We
be
went
so
like
good.
a Springsteen. I got it. I listen to the horror PSX. The total Springsteen.
Or the real Minute Genius voice.
We need So we need like if you're a crappy 80s sounding band, that's what we want. Yeah.
Crappy 80s sound.
If you sound like a crappy 80s band, that's what we want. Like a crappy 80s metal band. That's what we want. And willing to work for free. I cannot stress that enough.
Yes.
You can give us some awesome outro music.
Yes.
I don't know. Would you guys dance naked in a cemetery?
No.
That'd be something y'all do.
I don't see
No, this
why.
movie taught us this.
No, I don't.
Did
I
we
don't
not
see-
just have a conversation a little bit about how not convenient it is to be running around naked outside of your own house?
Dancing is one thing, but I can't. Like, why would I be naked at a cemetery? I don't get the people that go to have sex on other people's graves either. So I don't get it. Like, I don't know. Like, if that's what you're into, then fine. That's great. I don't get it. It's not for me. But I can't imagine a situation where I'd ever be willing to be naked in a cemetery for any reason. So dancing would probably not happen. But if this is my solemn pledge as a human being and a person on earth, that if for every reason there is a good reason for me to be naked in a cemetery, then I'm going to dance just from the principle that I'm like, well, I might as well dance. 'Cause
I'm
already
here.
naked.
I'm here. I'm naked. I gotta swing the dick around.
Like, my clothes are on fire. I'm going to take them off. So I'm going to dance after I stop, drop, and roll.
I've never been naked in a cemetery, but I mean, I dance naked under a moon, so. But not in a cemetery. I mean, that's just disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
According to suicide, it was.
Yes.
Yes.
No wiping your vagina on my leather pants.
No, I don't think anybody should be rubbing their vagina on anything.
No.
Unless you've
Hey, you know
previously
what?
asked that thing to rub your vagina. Is it okay if I rub my vagina on you?
Do
just
what you
quickly
want
ask.
with your own vagina, but
Yeah.
please, if you're rubbing it on other people,
Get
you
consent.
should probably ask.
Yeah.
Get
Don't
consent.
rub anything that you have on anyone else. With man, woman, whatever.
Yes.
And ladies, not leather either. That's not going to feel good. That's going to give you a rash. Nobody wants that.
That's what no one talks about those pants.
Yeah.
The rashes and the chafing.
Peter Vincent did in the last
That's true. He did.
Fright Night. He did. He said he had a rash.
Fucking pants.
They don't breathe. I can get it, man. Like you're just
do.
going to be sweaty.
That's like you would never have leather underwear. So why would you?
Do leather pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'm saying
they don't
for-
even look that cool. Like I get it if you're on a motorcycle, right? And you got those chap things that you just put over your jeans to like
Yeah,
keep you from like getting road rash or anything should you fall. But
Yeah,
like
but that's more practical.
yeah,
than
that's
it is
practical. I
fucking,
don't
like-
get just wearing them. I don't know. I wasn't a
Yeah.
child in the 80s. Well, I was born in the 80s, but I didn't grow up in the leather
Well,
pants.
I just
days.
mean more like for trash rubbing up against suicide. I'm like, you wouldn't wear, leather chonies. So why
Yeah.
would you
Yeah.
rub your vagina on?
And you don't know where trash has been. When was the last time he wiped those
No,
leather
you mean
pants? Oh, suicide. Yeah, you don't.
You
when's
don't know
the
where
last
trash has
time-
been either.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
thing.
true.
You don't know who other leather pants she's been rubbing her vagina on.
This
They
is
did
true.
say she's getting naked again.
Yes. And I mean, after that many times, is it even that great to see anymore? It's just like she's naked. I mean, I've seen her boobs before, right? Like,
Trash is naked again. Yeah, guys.
I mean, I don't know if somebody. I've
some
been in
roasters.
like I've been in a party where people just randomly got naked, right? And I've never been so excited about somebody getting naked.
Like,
I need you
God
to run
damn it,
over
I don't
there.
wanna
I know
see
most
that.
of the time, like when you're at a party or something and someone gets naked, they're like, oh, Jesus.
Again, already, it's only 9:30.
You've had 2 wine coolers, Sarah.
Like somebody can't handle
Get down off the
alcohol.
back of a couch. You're not a cat. Go
Yeah.
put your pants back on.
God damn it.
Be like,
Crystal.
jokes on them. That's non-alcoholic beer.
Put your clothes back on, my boy.
Yes, yes.
These are not Osh brownies.
Regular brownies.
regular Dutch bakery.
But yeah, no, it was just like a satirical look at youth culture in the 80s as well.
Yeah.
So if it is that satirical look at youth culture in the 80s, then I mean, like I said, that's where she's like, I'm just going to get naked for the rest of the movie because that's what happens in these
For
movies.
the rest of the
Yes.
movie, yep. And it just made the ridiculous kills and everything so much funnier.
She reminded me of like a character from, she reminded me more of Thundercats, but like if Cats, like the musical, I guess.
Yes.
Because she was like, she was like a Thundercats character come to life. Basically.
I think I know what cemented this movie for me as a satire is when the only black guy in the movie doesn't die first.
Yes, he makes it all the way till the end.
Well, they all die at the end. So,
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't die
He
first.
makes it to the end because he hadn't eaten the enchiladas yet.
No.
he was still limber.
He does make it to the end, and he has he's so practical. I love how he's just like, no, we have to do something, guys.
Yes.
And like,
No, I don't think about death. Flavor.
he's so hilarious in this movie. This movie's great. It's a great, fun, satirical look at the 80s in all of its 80s glory.
Yes,
And it's
it
a good
was.
watch on 4th of July Eve. People always talk about it on July 3rd
They
because
do.
that's when it starts.
That's
the
when it
beginning of the
starts.
movie. So you're a
Oh.
little confused.
And since it all happened for real, we need
I
to
didn't pay
honor
attention
the
to the
victims.
dates.
You know, it's,
I just noticed that they had dates, but I didn't pay attention to the actual
I never
dates.
retain those information in my
Yes.
brain either. I'm just like,
Never
okay,
forget.
it's a day.
Okay,
Yeah.
when everyone's tweeting it and putting it on social media on July fucking 3rd.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what I remember.
true. They
This is
do.
Why, so
But great movie. I mean, you get to see Lena Quigley naked,
Again,
as so many movies she's naked in. But she really pulls off this whole like 80s bad girl ridiculousness, talking about death. She really pulls it off, I feel. And then if that was even her doing the eating later on, because you couldn't
Yeah.
really
Who
tell.
knows?
I was like,
Yeah.
is that a stunt double? I don't know.
Could've
But
been, yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie's fun. It's fun. Well, that was Return of the Living Dead, and that was the first of our requests from Algeray. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but thank you for your Instagram request. Like we said, you guys can hit us back and give us more requests at podcast@scarynerd.com. If you want to email us, you can contact us on all the social medias.
Are you hitting any of our fans? Because if you want them to hit us back, then that means you hit them before.
Yeah.
yes.
Why are you
I
hitting people?
smack everybody just to
It's not nice to
display
smack.
my dominance, Paul.
Display.
Duh.
Assert your
Display
dominance.
dominance.
Yes. No, I display it. I don't assert it. I don't need to assert it. I just have to display it. That's all I got to do.
There's no display.
I have the mom face. I just look at you and you're like, what did I do? I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I'll go clean my room. But yeah, you can also support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/ScaryNerd. You can find more horror entertainment news at ScaryNerd.com. Next week, we'll be coming back with Autopsy of Jane Doe,
Yes.
which is another fan request. But we still got 2 open slots, so send us your ideas, folks.
And enchiladas.
And
Ooh,
enchiladas.
No, I don't want you to send me enchiladas. I don't want your fucking enchiladas. I'm saying I will be back with enchiladas and Autopsy of Jane Doe.
You're going to make us all enchiladas,
I'm
Paul?
going to make myself some fucking enchiladas.
All right, well, I
if
guess
you're willing to take random enchiladas from strangers, then you guys can go ahead.
I mean, I'm not saying I take food from strangers, but I'll hit any joint offered to me. I'm not ready to go back into this
I
world.
I'm terrible. I can be bribed with food.
You can. That's probably how they kill us. But anyway, now that we're thinking about death again, thanks, Lena Quigley.
Do we need to talk about something?
We will see you guys next week with Autopsy of Jane Doe.
We need
Bye
to have
bye.
intervention. See, we need an outro song right now.
Yes, yes.